Hey guys, today I want to look at the idea of how we manage intrusive thoughts. When we think of intrusive thoughts, often we think about people with obsessive compulsive disorder, people who have intrusive thoughts and then we obsess about them. Intrusive thoughts could be anything from, I feel like I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die. Or we might say, what would it be like if I cut myself with this knife? Or what if I cut someone else with this knife? Or what if I die of COVID in a hospital on a ventilator and no one comes to see me? And we have these intrusive thoughts and we begin to obsess about them. But isn't it true also, those of us in addiction recovery from substance abuse or compulsive behaviors, our main battle is that with the nagging thoughts, those thoughts that intrude. Another kind of intrusive thought are self-deprecating thoughts or self-condemning thoughts. Maybe you think, I play guitar and maybe I should ask the church if they ever need a guitar player. I wouldn't mind going up there. But then our intrusive thoughts come in and it talks us out of it. It says things like this: you're not good enough to play in front of people. What are you doing? Self-deprecating thoughts are very limiting. These are the kind of thoughts that we tell ourselves that keep us from asking someone out or talking to our boss about a promotion. Those intrusive self-deprecating thoughts will tear us down and tell us how worthless we are. Things we need to understand about intrusive thoughts. One is that a study shows that 94% of us have intrusive thoughts. So don't think that you're alone or that you're crazy or that this only happens to you. It's really, really common. The thing is, most of us just brush it off and say, that was weird, and we go on our day. But the second thing we need to realize is that having the thought doesn't mean that it's true. And also, having the thought doesn't mean that we're going to act on it. It just simply means that we had the thought. But the last thing that we need to remember is that trying hard not to have a thought will only make that thought stronger. There's this famous quote by Carl Jung that says, "What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size." And so we've got to stop feeding the thought. And I know you know what I'm talking about. It's like when you're on a diet and you're like, oh, I can't eat cake. Well, I can't eat sugary things. Oh, I'm trying to stay away from carbs, so I can't eat chips. What am I thinking about? Eating, eating, eating. And it's the same with drink or drugs or pornography or gambling or whatever the case may be. The harder that we try to not have a thought, the more pervasive the thought is. Today, I'm going to give us 3 practical ways that we can manage our intrusive thoughts. And the first one is using a technique that we call cognitive diffusion.
Now that is a very fancy word. I'm impressed.
So this is interesting. In cognitive diffusion, we're saying, I'm having this thought, but I'm choosing not to engage in the thought. I realize, I observe that I'm thinking this, but I'm choosing not to buy the thought. That's an interesting concept and can be powerful. But practically speaking, how do we do that? Well, one tool that we can use is what I call changing your resting thought. What I mean by that is this. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head? That song became your resting thought. In other words, you're singing the song in your head and it might be frustrating, like trying to get this out of my head, but you keep singing the song until something happens and you get busy. When you get busy doing other things, you forget about the song. But then when your mind has a chance to go back, that resting thought, you start singing the song again. I remember clearly some time ago, I had a song stuck in my head, and I remember it was that song by the Village People, YMCA. And I kid you not, I could not get that song stuck out of my head. I was singing, young man, there's no need to be down. I say, young man, pick yourself off the ground. And I was like, stop it. I'm so frustrated. This song is stuck in my head. But I remembered this principle and I said, I've got to change my resting thought. So that time I very specifically thought of a song that I enjoy. And it happened to be Bruce Springsteen's Blinded by the Light. And I started singing that song as best as I could remember. Madman drummers, bummers, and Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat. in the dumps with the mumps as the adolescent pumps his way into his hat, and on and on. And I changed my resting thought. See, we can't really not think something. We just got to think something else. And that's what I did. I changed my resting thought. And for you, it might literally be a song. As you're thinking about whatever unwanted thought, start singing a song. It might be a positive affirmation. You know, tell yourself all the things that are true of you. I am somebody. I am successful. I am growing. I am working on creating a better version of myself. Those are positive things that we can be washing our mind with. Another thing we might do is just share a happy memory. Think about a happy memory. Think about the time that you and your wife were on the beach and how much time you had, how much fun you had playing in the waves, and, you know, revisit some of those happy memories. A third way that we can conquer unwanted thoughts is through prayer or meditation. And I know it sounds counterintuitive because those are the times often when we feel the most distracted, when we have the most unwanted thoughts. But hear me out. Mindfulness isn't what we often hear people say, well, I got to clear my mind in order to meditate. Clearing our mind, that's not mindful meditation. Mindfulness is just that. My mind is full, but it's mindful on the present, on what's going on right here and right now. Often I'll start with 3 deep cleansing breaths. I'll breathe in as much air as I can breathe in, and then I'll breathe out as much air as I can breathe out. And then I'll just really focus on what's going on in the here and now. Oftentimes I'll picture different parts of my body and picture my muscles relaxing from my head all the way down to my toes. And after that, just, here I am sitting in my chair. I'm mindful of the feeling of the floor, beneath my feet. I'm looking out and I'm watching the sunshine come in the window, and I'm noticing the trees outside gently blowing in the wind. I'm just being mindful of everything that's going on, every sight that I see and every sound that I hear. But oftentimes that's when those intrusive thoughts come. So what I'll do sometimes, I'll write it down. If I'm trying to be mindful and just be in the present and think about what's going on in the here and now, kind of reset myself, and all of a sudden my mind's saying, hey, you got to get laundry detergent later. I'll write it down, pick up laundry detergent. That way I can go back. Guys, I hope that this has been helpful for you. As always, I'm Brian on YouTube at New Life Recovery. God bless you. I love you. And until next time, be well.